5 things you should be doing right now to ensure an awesome and huge harvest of autumn and winter veggies. It's April here in Melbourne, Australia, and autumn is here. I'm finally getting some energy back after having my baby, which means it is time to reset the garden and plant. I'm going to be taking you through everything that you need to be doing right now in your gardens to ensure a huge autumn and winter harvest. I'm also going to take you through what we've already got growing, a quick little tour of the garden as I do every month, and I'm going to take you through all the things that you can be planting right now. The most important thing you've got to do when you are starting to plan your autumn and winter veggies is to refresh your soil. So these beds, until a few days ago, were chock-a-block full of our leftover summer produce. We've pulled out almost all of the tomatoes. We've pulled out all of the chilies. I have left a couple of capsicum plants here because they'd sort of been hiding underneath the other chili plants, and I could see they still had a lot of fruit wanting to get going, so I wasn't prepared to pull them out just yet, but everything else is out, and in the meantime I've been refreshing the soil around it. What do I mean by refreshing the soil? Well, every time you grow something in your soil, the food that you grow uses up all the nutrients. So you've got to put the nutrients back in. There are some really easy ways to do that. What I've done, I've added in each of my big beds a bag of compost, a bag of cow manure, that's got to be aged cow manure, plus I have sprinkled in blood and bone and worm castings. All these things add nutrients and other elements back into the soil so that the next lot of veggies can thrive. If that all sounds way too complicated and you just want one, stick to compost. If you just add fresh compost to your soil, that will be doing loads of good. Speaking of compost, I don't want to turn you off making your own, but have a look what I found in mine a few days ago. Okay, I just squealed like a baby because I was just turning my compost. Look what I found. Yeah, good luck getting out of there, mate. Yeah, oh God. Ah! Did you see that? The next thing you're going to want to think about is some netting, because a lot of the winter veggies have leaves that taste good not only to us but also to all sorts of insects. So brassicas in particular, they'll get smashed by all sorts of insects unless you protect them. Here is a really simple way of setting up some netting to protect your garden beds. So here I've got some 13mm piping, which I just bought from Bunnings, but you can get from any hardware store. I measured it out by size, chopped it off and just squished it in. So once you've got these little bits at the end here, you can cut them into smaller pieces, cut them down the side, and then use them as clips. Now I'm just going to leave that half done for now because I've got some cabbages in there I need to protect, and I can stretch that out and continue over the rest of it once these guys are finished. The next thing you've got to get right when planting out your autumn vegetable garden is planting the right things. So if we're planting now, the weather is going to progressively get cooler over the next few months, and many things we plant now will still be in the garden over winter. So that knocks out anything that can't tolerate cold conditions. The basil, which is growing beautifully at the moment, I wouldn't bother planting now because it won't do well over winter. Other things will thrive. So a lot of your brassicas will do really well. You might notice this one here, my 3-year-old daughter's pot. I said, let's go plant something together so we can watch it grow. She was determined to plant something in here. So we've got little Easter egg radishes in here, which should grow very quickly, and they are quite small, so it's going to be a bit crowded in there. So these are some seeds that I've started just in the last few days, which I will let grow and get a bit stronger in here before I transplant them. Sugar snap peas, I'm going to stick some of these straight in the garden too. Purple kale, purple broccoli or any kind of broccoli, and broccolini. These are little lettuce seedlings. More lettuce seeds have gone in there. And here, I've got green feast peas and snow peas. So peas galore. I love peas from the garden. You all right, sausage? Hello. Are you okay? You're gonna love peas one day too. Now, if we take a look in these beds, I have freshened these beds up as well. So I have added in here a bit of compost, a bit of manure, some blood and bone, and some worm castings. And I have lettuces at different stages. So you can see some I've had in there for a little bit longer that are getting closer to being able to eat and enjoy. And I've got some that I have just stuck in. So these I just stuck in the last couple of days. I've got my rocket at the back there, which I've trimmed right back, and that will keep on growing for a little while. And I've got some spinach over here, which I've also just put in. I'm also going to put some spinach seeds in today. The great thing about the food cubes is your plants don't have to compete for water because they're watering from the bottom or wicking beds. So while in ordinary beds you need to leave quite a bit of space between some of your veggies, you don't have to do that as much with the food cubes. So I'm going to stick snow peas and sugar snap peas in here. First, they need trellises. I'm going to reuse one from last season, two from last season. And then you literally just stick the seeds in, water them, let them grow. Snow peas in here. Same for my sugar snap peas. My tomato plant, which I will pull out fairly soon, but I am just leaving this one growing a little bit longer because it's healthier than the others. This tomato plant in my food cube has done better than my other tomato plants. Probably because it's got such constant access to water, and probably because the soil that we put in there was so good. I've talked about the food cubes quite a bit. If you guys are interested in checking them out or getting some for yourself, I'll put a drop down link in here where you can check out the website. I'm going to stick some of these green feast peas up the back in this bed here. Notice I've got some purple cabbage seedlings here too. While we're on the topic of cabbages, yes, it is a great time to be planting cabbages, either from seed or from seedlings. Excuse me, I'm doing everything one-handed because not only am I filming, I've also got little munchkin on my lap. So what I'm going to do today, because these are quite slow growing, these cabbages, they'll take a while, I'm going to stick some fast growing things in between there. Got a bunch of radish seeds here. This is the lazy girls planting, or the busy mamas planting. The other things I'm going to plant in here are some broccoli. This will take a while. So tiny little broccoli seeds. Yeah, I'm just going to sprinkle them too, because sprinkling them in there and I can thin them out later. Broccoli, we've got cabbage, we've got radish, seeds and seedlings that I can cover up. Put you there for now. Good luck. So over in this bed, I'm now going to stick some beetroot seeds in. Same again, I'm just going to sprinkle and hope for the best. Now, on to the next point for what you need to do to ensure a huge harvest of autumn and winter veggies. These 3 plants are the prime example. All of them I had given up on. All of them looked virtually dead and were definitely not producing any new fruit until I did one thing. So the reason they weren't doing very well is because I was heavily pregnant, I was exhausted, I was watering the garden, and that was all I was doing. I wasn't spending any time fixing up my soil or adding fertilizer. This all changed within just a few days of me trying a new liquid fertilizer on my garden. And this is what I've used. I bought these from QP Seedlings because I wanted to get some new seedlings. In order to get the online delivery, I needed to spend a maximum $40. So I thought I would try out their liquid fertilizer because I needed some. It's 2-part Pro A and Pro B. I always knew liquid fertilizer helped, but I was stunned by just how much of a difference it made, particularly after I'd been neglecting my soil. So 50 mils of that and 50 mils of that into water and just sprinkled on your garden, and literally within a week I had these plants, tomatoes and capsicums, that I was about to pull out because they weren't fruiting anymore and I thought they'd reached the end of their life. They just all started producing fruits again. I'll give you a little peek at just some of the other bits we've got growing at the moment. Lots of parsley under there, some rocket at the back, lettuce here, and bok choy. I have pulled out most of my chilies because we just have so many actual chilies we can't get through them all, but I haven't pulled this one out yet. Why? Who knows? But there's lots of beautiful chilies on there. Our lemon and lime trees have been getting attacked by the gall wasp. I've learnt something quite interesting. When you get these bulges here, it's often a sign that the gall wasps have been laying eggs in the plant. Okay, I've found an example in here. This might be tricky to film, but you can see how that's got the bulge around there. Let me zoom in. I have got a peeler. I've got a peeler here. I'm going to peel the sides. I'll show you what's on the inside. There we go. Look at that. You can see those eggs in there. I found another one here. I've got my peeler. Shave it or peel it or whatever. Expose the eggs. They will die. They can't survive like that. And then they will end up looking, here's another one I did earlier. They'll end up looking like that. All the eggs die off, then you save your tree. Continuing around the garden, beautiful parsley, spring onion growing in there. Oh, baby rocket over there. My basil. Baby, and my trusty carrots. They just keep on giving. Something that I don't talk about as much anymore because it's sort of become a bit of a given is light, but it is absolutely critical. If you don't get your light right, your autumn and winter veggies will not grow. Many areas of your garden that get a lot of sunlight in the summer will get quite different levels of sunlight in the winter. The sun's obviously changing position in the sky. There are some pockets of my garden that get a beautiful amount of sunshine in the summer and not enough to grow anything in the winter. So make sure you are watching your garden intently as the months go by and making sure that what you have in the garden has enough sunlight. Enough is usually 6 hours of direct sunlight every day. Some veggies can do with less than that and some quite like a dappled light. Things like lettuce can do quite well in partial shade. But make sure your veggies are getting enough sunshine, and if they're not, think really hard about relocating your veggie garden. If you like this video, I would really appreciate it if you could hit the like button. That helps give the video a bit of a boost and help other people find it. Happy gardening!